It's been 4 days since Shiv Sena MP Ravindra Gaikwad slapped an elderly Air India staffer only because he did not get the seat that he wanted. Now, instead of hauling up the defiant Gaikwad over coals, Netas have come out in his support, including his own party, the Shiv Sena. Parliament, in fact, saw massive uproar as Netas joined hands and demanded the revocation of the blanket travel ban on Gaikwad imposed on him by all the private airlines. Remember, all the domestic carriers had blacklisted Gaikwad, forcing him to take an embarrassed train journey. However, Gaikwad is continuing to flex muscle. Here's the report.
Shiv Sena is threatening to move a privilege motion in Lok Sabha, demanding revocation of Airline's blanket ban on its hooligan MP. Defiant Sena is not alone in its power trip. In a rare show of strength, MPs from other parties have joined hands to help out their fellow lawmaker.
FIR has already been filed. Let the law take its own course of action. We are not against it. What we are saying is that it is our fundamental right to come and attend the parliament or to move in the country.
केवल हाउस अटेंड करने में उनको जो एयर में ये किया है, बैन लगाया है एयरलाइंस ने, वो बैन कैसे हटेगा? उस पर बात इतनी है कि वे आपस में चर्चा करो, एयरलाइंस के प्रमुखों से चर्चा करके इसमें कुछ तो भी निकलेगा.
Meanwhile, the subject of the debate, Ravindra Gaikwad chose to stay off the radar most of the day, even as his party enforced a shutdown in his constituency, Osmanabad. Speaking to India Today, Gaikwad said he will be back in Delhi after attending Gudi Padwa celebrations to attend Parliament.
सोमवार मंगलवार को मेरे को पार्टी ने छुट्टी दिया है. हमारी तरफ पाड़वा होता है, गुड़ी पाड़वा. वो घर जाके करके बुध दिन 11 बजे मैं पार्लियामेंट में आऊंगा. ठाकरे साहब जो आदेश देंगे वो मुझे मंजूर है.
Or the Air India official who was assaulted while performing his duty. Do our MPs really count hooliganism as one of their privileges? Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, the Shiv Sena has threatened to move a breach of privilege motion against Air India after they cancelled the ticket of their MP and imposed a travel ban on him. So, is this airline ban on Mr. Gaikwad actually a breach of privilege? Does that mean that MPs see hooliganism as a privilege that they have been afforded by virtue of the post that they occupy? The other big question we're asking is that, leave alone his own party, why are members of parliament from other parties actually backing the kind of behavior that was displayed by Gaikwad? Do they condone the kind of actions that were on display on board that Air India flight? Should the central government actually go ahead and make that no-fly list, and people like Gaikwad and other unruly passengers maybe should just be put on that no-fly list? Or should this list be limited to terror suspects only? But the basic question that has to be addressed today, is this not a simple issue of a person's sense of entitlement, a VVIP sense of entitlement, versus what people really think they expect from their public representatives? Joining us now is Majah Daruwala. He's the director of the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative. We have Vinod Karade. He's a supporter of Ravindra Gaikwad and a member of the Shiv Sena. And Shine INC of the BJP is also with us now. We're also joined by Charanjit Singh Sapra. He is a spokesperson of the Congress party. But Mr. Karade, I want to ask you first. आपने आज बंद करार दे दिया रविंद्र गायकवाड़ के सपोर्ट में, पर जिस तरह का बिहेवियर उन्होंने किया था, आपको लगता है कि उनको कंडेम करना चाहिए या उनके सपोर्ट में एक पूरे शहर को बंद कर देना चाहिए?
आपको पूछेंगे, मैं बोलूं? आपको जब पूछेंगे जब
इनको बोलो ऑडियो कम जा.
हाँ जी, कराडे साहब बोलिए.
जी, मेरा नाम कराड़े नहीं है, मेरा नाम जितेंद्र शिंदे है.
जी, शिंदे साहब बोलिए. जो आज बंद था वो किस चीज के लिए बंद किया गया है? थप्पड़ मारा गायकवाड़ साहब ने, बदतमीजी की गायकवाड़ साहब ने, माफी मांगने से मना किया गायकवाड़ साहब ने, तो फिर बंद किस चीज के लिए किया?
थप्पड़ मारा, ये बात से हम लोग सहमत नहीं है. हम कोई भी इंक्वायरी के बिना उनके खिलाफ जो बैन लगाया गया उसके अगेंस्ट में हमने बंद किया है. उनके एयरलाइंस भी बैन लगाती है, तो उन्होंने उनका भी कहना पूछना चाहिए, एमपी साहब से भी पूछना चाहिए क्या घटना हुई, उसकी चौकसी
अरे
इंक्वायरी
जितेंद्र
करनी
शिंदे
चाहिए।
साहब, एमपी साहब से तो पूछा गया था, उन्होंने इतने गर्व से बोला कि हाँ 25 बार मैंने चप्पल मारा। ऐसा थोड़ी ना है कि किसी ने उनसे पूछा नहीं कि हुआ क्या, उन्होंने खुद कबूला कि हाँ चप्पल मारी मैंने।
किसने पूछा मैम?
सर अगर आप चाहते हैं तो मैं आपको फिर से आपको
एयरलाइंस
सुनवा देती हूं।
उनसे
हमने खुद पूछा उनसे, हमने दिन में 5 बार उनसे पूछा। जिस दिन ये पूरा हादसा हुआ था हमने दिन में 5 बार पूछा उनसे, और उन्होंने इतने फक्र से हमें बोला एज पता नहीं वो कोई किला फतेह करके आए
उनको। नहीं, क्योंकि उनके साथ अन्याय हुआ था, उनके साथ में वो लोगों ने दुर्वर्तन किया था। एक कॉमन नागरिक बोल के उन्होंने जो बात पूछी थी, उनका जवाब।
ये सही है जितेंद्र शिंदे साहब, कोई अगर आपसे वापस पलट के कुछ बोल दे क्योंकि आप मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हैं, तो आप उनको चप्पल से पीट सकते हैं। शाइना एनसी, डज दिस रियली मीन दैट एन एमपी कैन बिहेव इन whichever way he or she likes and no one has a right to reply, or they'll be beaten up, and if they then retaliate they'll be accused of breach of privilege?
Padmaja, I want to just ask a fundamental question. You have a staff member who's assuming being been rude or not given a privilege or inconvenienced the MP. The MP decides to take out his chappal and hit him. Now you take the reverse, where the people on that flight, the public has been inconvenienced because of this 1 hour delay of the member of parliament and all that drama that's going on. Does it give the public the right to remove their slipper and hit the MP? Now this is about a larger point, which is conduct in public life. 2 FIRs have been registered. Instead of the member of parliament accepting and say, I have made a mistake, even if he has admitted and said that I have hit the staffer, he could have come out and said, I had a think over my action and I think I've wronged. He doesn't do that. He goes one step further and shuts down his own constituency to show that he is the king of this entire terrain and that he is the uncrowned, unquestionable leader of a constituency where whether they are even forced to close shop is not known. I think that this really does not talk about probity or conduct of public life. We must debate about this irrespective of where Mr. Gaikwad is from. I don't want to be the moral custodian. I don't want to be the moral custodian
हम लोगों को मारेंगे पीटेंगे, और अगर कोई प्रोटेस्ट करेगा, अगर कोई आपको अपने पेन से उतार देगा तो हम
सुना नहीं दे रहा हमें ठीक।
अब आवाज आ रही है शिंदे साहब कि अगर कोई मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट है वो दूसरे आदमी को पीटते हैं, अगर एयरलाइन उन पे बैन लगा देती है तो आप पूरा अपना कंस्टिट्यूएंसी बंद करवा देते हैं। ये किस तरह की सीनाजोरी है?
नहीं मैडम, वो पीटे है कि नहीं है ये कंफर्म होने दीजिए। ये तो मीडिया ट्रायल हुई है, सिर्फ एक साइड सुनी गई है, दूसरी साइड सुनी ही नहीं गई है।
सर उन्होंने खुद कहा कि मैंने 25 बार मारा।
साइड सुनी है इसकी, दूसरी साइड उनको बार बार उकसाया गया, उसके लिए प्रोवोकेट किया गया उनको बात करने के लिए।
प्लीज प्ले द रिकॉर्डिंग सो ही हियर्स व्हाट ही हैज सेड।
उनको पहले ही पूछता है
किसने उकसा दिया सर? अगर कोई 1 घंटे तक बैठा रहेगा प्लेन के अंदर, और हाँ नहीं आप रुकिए, रिकॉर्डिंग दिखाते हैं आपको, क्योंकि किसी ने ना उनको उकसाया ना किसी ने उनके ऊपर अत्याचार किया। उन्होंने खुद कबूला उन्होंने क्या किया, ये सुनवाते हैं आपको एक बार फिर से। शिंदे साहब आपकी मेमोरी ताजा कराते हैं। तो शिंदे साहब बताइए, खुद जो आदमी इतने फख्र से ये चीजें बोलता है, क्या उसको इतना भी हक नहीं है एयरलाइन को कि वो इतना कह दे कि आप हमारे प्लेन पे नहीं चढ़ सकते?
नहीं जी, वो 10वें रिपोर्टर थे आपके। सुबह से 25 रिपोर्टर ने उनको पूछा वही बात। पहले रिपोर्टर पे उन्होंने ठीक से बताया जो हुआ है, वो उनके साथ में ग्रीवेंस हुआ, उन्होंने पूछ रहे थे सिर्फ उनके ग्रीवेंस के बारे में नहीं, बाकी पैसेंजर को भी जो डिस्कम्फर्ट हो रहा है उसके बारे में पूछ रहे थे। ये पूछना गलत है क्या? उसका जवाब देना चाहिए क्या नहीं चाहिए? उनके साथ उनको तकलीफ हुई, बाकी पैसेंजर को तकलीफ हुई, बार-बार हो रही है।
अरे भाई साहब, पैसेंजर को तकलीफ हुई आपके सांसद की वजह से, क्योंकि आपके सांसद प्लेन से उतर नहीं रहे थे। 115 लोग जिनको गोवा जाना था वो 1 घंटे तक खड़े रहे।
सब पैसेंजर उतर के गए थे।
अरे भाई साहब, यही प्लेन को वापस टर्न अराउंड करके गोवा जाना था। एक तो आपने उस प्लेन में तमाशा किया, उसके बाद 115 लोगों को आपने खड़ा रखा क्योंकि आपके सांसद प्लेन से नहीं उतर रहे थे। फिर एयरलाइन ने कहा कि आप यहाँ पे न्यूसेंस क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, आप हमारे प्लेन पे मत चढ़िए, तो आपने उस्मानाबाद को बंद करा दिया।
मैम वो अगर प्लेन में जाते ही गड़बड़ करते थे, झगड़ा करते थे तो अलग बात थी। वो चुपचाप बैठे रहे, अपनी कंप्लेंट देने की उन्होंने कोशिश की। उन्होंने उसके बाद में भी 1 घंटा, वो बोले भाई मेरी कंप्लेंट लो, उनका 1 घंटा बैठने का इरादा नहीं था। मेरी कंप्लेंट लेने तक वो बैठना ऐसा उनका कहना था। उनकी कंप्लेंट लो, उनकी आवाज तो सुननी चाहिए। प्लेन में से उतर जाने के बाद कोई नहीं सुनता है, सब पैसेंजर को यही तकलीफ होती है।
उनकी कंप्लेंट लेने के लिए ड्यूटी ऑफिसर जो आए थे उन्हीं को तो चप्पल से पीटा उन्होंने। उनका कहना था सीएमडी को लेके आओ एयर इंडिया के, क्योंकि वो सांसद हैं तो खुद सीएमडी आएंगे उनकी कंप्लेंट लेने प्लेन के अंदर। आई वांट टू गेट इन माजा दारूवाला एज वेल। माजा दारूवाला, व्हाट शुड बी डन? What should be done in a situation like this? Because imagine after all of these days as well, here is a person who's completely unable to fathom just what he's done, and his supporters.
I think everybody just making excuses, especially the gentleman who spoke before me. He's just trying to defend the indefensible. Now, we know that you're talking about the ban by the airlines. You know, under the Aviation Act, etc., there is a discretion in having people on board who can compromise the safety or who can create a problem. And there is a discretion to get them off the plane, and perhaps if you do it 2 or 3 times, then people won't fly you, because a plane is way up in the air, the risk is high, and you can't have stable, unstable people on it. That's one issue. The other issue that you're asking about is what should be done about it. Nothing should be done about it except what you would do to an ordinary citizen. If an ordinary citizen slaps another citizen, you file an FIR, you call the person in for questioning, you question them, you charge sheet them, you take them before the magistrate, you charge sheet them, you have a trial, he gets bail or he doesn't get bail, you sentence them and you put them away. That's what happens to me and you if you do this kind of thing.
Do you think that the airlines are within their right to decide that Mr. Gaikwad should not fly with them?
Different?
Padmaja,
there is a great deal of discretion when you are on a plane or whom to fly.
Gaikwad.
So I think that there is that discretion. And it's not that Mr. Gaikwad has not done this kind of violence before. That's another thing. And the other thing I would like to say is that what is the signal that is being sent by Mr. Gaikwad? He came on television for hours afterwards and spewed anger and self-defense against this person and said, with, as you said, fakhra. He said, I have done this. What more do you want? The signal it is sending to everybody in the public, the young people who are watching television,
not just that, he
the
was
people who are looking for
saying that I am not a BJP MP, I am a Shiv Sena MP.
You can do this.
I am going to beat up people who talk to me like this. I have learned this from Bala Sahib himself. Yes, Shaina also wants to come.
That is immaterial to me. He is a citizen of... No, I don't think he's learnt it from anywhere except that he wants to do this.
No,
he is a person who is in a leadership position. What is the signal he's sending? And those who are supporting him, what is the signal they are sending to the young people of this country and to people like me?
The signal they are sending is that we are better than you. We are higher human beings than you. You cannot touch us. And we can beat you up.
It is a signal of shame.
When the wind strikes us. Shaina NC.
But most of all, they are saying that we have complete contempt for the law.
Padmaja.
That is what they are saying to you.
Absolutely. Shaina.
Padmaja, it goes back to my original point that if he has been inconvenienced as a member of parliament and he hits somebody with his slipper, the people who were on the aircraft were also inconvenienced by the member of parliament. Would they be in a position to hit him with their slippers? This is not a debate about a particular political party. This is about public life and conduct in public life. And really, if he's so bothered about all these airlines that have banned him, all he has to do is ensure and give them an unconditional note saying that this incident will not be repeated, and these are his areas what agitated him and why this situation got out of control. He is not going into that detail at all.
Absolutely.
He is not interested in apologizing or even clarifying his stand. He is only interested in shutting shop in Osmanabad.
वो भी उनको मारना शुरू कर देंगे, क्योंकि गायकवाड़ साहब और आपका तो सोचना है कि ये बिल्कुल सही तरीका है किसी को रिस्पॉन्ड करने का।
जी,
गायकवाड़ साहब की वजह से जिन लोगों को तकलीफ हुई है, क्या वो भी वैसे ही रिएक्ट करें जैसे कि गायकवाड़ साहब रिएक्ट करते हैं? एयर इंडिया के आदमी ने उनसे बात की पलट के, तो उन्होंने उनको चप्पल से मारा। क्या बाकी लोग भी ऐसे ही रिस्पॉन्ड करेंगे गायकवाड़ साहब को? ये आपका मानना है?
नहीं, गायकवाड़ साहब से ने चप्पल से मारा, ये बात सही नहीं है। उन्होंने ये सिर्फ मीडिया ने प्रोवोकेट करने के बाद में वो बोली वाली बात है, वो बात नहीं है सही। वो बात, वो हवाई जहाज में बैठे रहे, वो आधा घंटा, जो आदमी झगड़ा करना चाहता है वो आधा घंटा बैठ के नहीं रहता है। अगर उनके ऊपर एक्शन लेना चाहिए, उनके ऊपर अगर एक्शन लेना चाहिए था तो तभी सिक्योरिटी को कॉल करना चाहिए था। सिक्योरिटी आके उनसे बोलना चाहिए था अगर उनका गलत है कुछ भी, उन्होंने उनकी वजह से अगर कोई ये हो रहे है, तकलीफ हो रही है, तो सिक्योरिटी आना चाहिए था।
क्या बोल रहे हैं जितेंद्र शिंदे साहब?
बावजूद भी अगर कंप्लेंट देना है,
पूरे दिन कम से कम कुछ नहीं तो 55 से 100 बार गायकवाड़ साहब ने वही चीज बार बार बोली है। फिर वो शाम को पिक्चर भी देखने गए कि अपना दिमाग ठंडा करने के लिए।
बार बोली
ये तो हालत थी कि एक 60 साल के आदमी को पीटने के बाद, उसका चश्मा तोड़ने के बाद, उसको जमीन पे फेंकने के बाद, उसको प्लेन से बाहर फेंकने की कोशिश करने के बाद वो शाम को पिक्चर देख रहे थे आराम से, और अगले दिन हमें बता रहे थे कि मैं अगले दिन भी 4:30 की फ्लाइट लेके वापस पुणे जाऊंगा, देखता हूं कौन मुझे रोकता है। ये तो आलम था। और आप कह रहे हैं कि उनको क्या प्रवोक किया गया?
जी नहीं जी, उनके पास में टिकट था, वो फ्लाइट का टिकट था। टिकट है तो उनको जाने का हक है, वो जाना चाहते थे। टिकट दिए वाला था एयरलाइंस ने उनको। टिकट है तो वो जाएंगे, जाने की बात बोलेंगे ही ना। आदमी ने टिकट निकाले वाला है तो हमको तो टिकट का तो ये करना पड़ेगा। टिकट से है तो हम तो जाएंगे, दिल्ली से पुणे आना है तो टिकट से है हमारे पास, जाएंगे।
Unbelievable. I want to also get in the other speakers on our show right now. We'll be listening very patiently. Charanjit Singh Sapra, you just heard one of the supporters of Mr. Ravindra Gaikwad. Is this the kind of behavior and the kind of attitude that your party is agreeing with? Because inside Parliament, they seem to think that if an airline decides to not humor Mr. Gaikwad, they are in breach of privilege.
No, see, Congress party has not supported this person. His act was obnoxious, narcissist, and it is condemnable. Now, in fact, we are asking question that why the government or why the police took 30 hours to file a FIR. Why they are not arresting him? Why the ethics committee of the parliament is not taking action against him, though this is a case of, breach of constitutional propriety. Now, as far as your question is concerned, where you will quote one of our MP Renuka Chaudhary, I feel she has tried to differentiate a particular thing. No-fly list is a different thing which should be decided by a panel of members, or there should be a committee of aviation ministry. This is what she meant to say. That doesn't mean that Congress party is supporting Gaikwad.
You also have another leader, Hussain Dalwai, who has said he's a famous leader in Osmanabad.
And we want action against him.
We should keep in mind how the officer talked to Gaikwad, and what he did was wrong, but this is not just one-sided. This is what Hussain Dalwai has said, essentially almost seeming to condone what Mr. Gaikwad did by saying, listen, he was provoked, equal and opposite reaction. That was what the reason given by him was.
No. Mr. Dalwai might be trying to say that there should be a committee to decide the no-fly list. That is what he might be trying to say.
No, sir, he was
but
not
that
trying to
doesn't
say any
mean
such
that
thing. I
Congress
don't know how
party
you
is
could
supporting
decipher
Gaikwad or
this
we are trying
statement
to
to mean
condone
that.
him. We are
What he said was
opposing
quite clear.
and we want that Gaikwad should be arrested immediately.
Well,
why the government or why the Delhi police has not arrested him as yet?
Well, it doesn't seem that you're on the same page with most of your leaders, because they were quite clear that a popular leader in Osmanabad seems to have the right to behave the way he did because he was provoked. His very words were, this wasn't one-sided. You should have seen the way the officer spoke to him. He's a popular leader. That's why he reacted like this. Mr. Sapra.
No. Can you repeat, please? The audio is coming and going. Can't hear you clearly.
Well, what one of your leaders did say was that he's a famous leader in Osmanabad. We should keep in mind how the officer talked to Gaikwad. This is not just one-sided. How would you interpret this? Isn't this a tacit way to condone what Mr. Gaikwad did by insinuating that this was in reaction to what had been said to him?
No, that's what I'm trying to say, that Mr. Hussain Dalwai might have said this in only one context about the no-fly list. That doesn't mean that he is trying to condone Gaikwad or he's trying to support Gaikwad. It's not that way. And maybe it might be his personal view. I'm giving you Congress party view, that Congress party wants this Gaikwad to be arrested immediately. Congress party wants the ethics committee of the parliament to take action immediately. Why are they not doing that?
Okay, thank God. We certainly hope that this does happen. But Maza Daruwala, what to make of the kind of support one would have thought after seeing the kind of behavior that Mr. Gaikwad displayed, there would be an all-round condemnation of his behavior. But he actually has managed to attract support from his fellow parliamentarians. Why is that?
If there is any support from any parliamentarian, I think it is extremely unfortunate. I think this is one of these things where you are attacking an officer who is a public servant, then you're brazenly saying you have done it. This is not the first time you've done it. This is as Ms. Shaina said, it is a matter of what you're going to use, what is going to be the public behavior of people who are leaders in this country and who are committed to the constitution, committed to the law, committed to the rule of law. There is an ethics committee in parliament. I am sure that there are disciplinary committees in his own party. I am sure that across the board, behind their hands, surely people are saying that this is disgusting, you can't have it. And this is a moment to say stop, because all we can do is, if we don't stop, we will go further and further down this drain.
But far from doing that, Dr. Sriram Khanna, it
You
seems
have
that
to
a
make an
lot
example
of
of
parties
this one.
are actually asking the airlines, how dare you offload a member of parliament when he has to come apparently discharge his constitutional duties. The airlines, are being accused of being in breach of privilege. What explains this?
You know, there are two sides to the story. The politicians have a particular point of view, but I'm not talking about politicians. I am talking about in 2016, 100 million consumers flew different airlines in India. 10 crore people flew. And the law has to be the same for Mr. Gaikwad and each one of them. If somebody is unruly in his behavior, according to the civil aviation rules, which is the law, the airline can deplane the person or refuse to fly him. Now, in this case, if there was unruly behavior, he should have been deplaned. You didn't deplane him. And then when he argued with you, there was an argument and this is what happened. Now, if the gentleman actually used chappals to hit the Air India official, then I can only tell you one thing. Shiv Sena leaders have been doing this to North Indians and the minorities in Mumbai for decades. It's nothing new. every Shiv Sena demonstration, they will do it to every shopkeeper who doesn't close down their shop. They'll do it to everybody who opposes their point of view. So this is a part of the culture of Shiv Sena. And how do you expect Shiv Sena leaders to tell Mr. Gaikwad that you have done wrong? Because every time he did this and came to them, they congratulated him. Well done, you have broken 10 heads today. Well done, you used your chappal and dandas. So let's look at the political culture of the party from where the gentleman comes.
So Jitendra Shinde साहब, ये आपका कल्चर ही ऐसा है, तो ये मैसेज
during the elections they are all nice.
आप मैसेज यही देना चाहते हैं कि शिव सैनिकों के साथ अगर कोई भी पलट करके बोलेगा तो उसको ऐसा ही बर्ताव दिखाया जाएगा। कोशिश आपकी यही है ना?
नहीं मैम, हमारे कल्चर में ये नहीं है। वो एयर होस्टेस जी ने बताया कि हमारे एमपी ने उनको दीदी बोल के कहा है। बहुत ही कोर्टियसली उनसे प्रेजेंट हुए। बाकी सब स्टाफ से जब तक वो बैठे रहे तब तक बहुत ही विनयशीलता से उन्होंने बात की वाली है। अभी भी हर सामान्य से सामान्य नागरिक से विनयता से बात कर रहे हैं। इस एक ही बात है कि एयरलाइंस के खिलाफ कोई पूछना नहीं, क्या उनको सवाल करे तो उनको मारा जाएगा, उनको ढकेला जाएगा, हवाई जहाज से उतारा जाएगा। ऐसी अगर बात होती है तो एक ही साइड से नहीं होती है। सामान्य आदमी देखे बोल के देखिए, एमपी बोल के हम बात नहीं कर रहे, हमारे नेता बोल के बात नहीं कर रहे, सामान्य आदमी ने सवाल पूछना है। जी जी जी
पद्मजा,
बोलिए।
आई वॉन्ट टू जस्ट टेल मिस्टर शिंदे जी, ऐसा नहीं है कि गायकवाड़ जी ने कबूल नहीं किया है, उन्होंने बल्कि कबूल किया कि मैंने इनको 60 साल के बूढ़े एम्प्लॉई को 25 बार चप्पल से मारा। जो ये एडमिशन नहीं है तो हाँ, जरूर कार्रवाई कीजिए, दोनों पक्ष के बारे में सोचिए, समझ लीजिए कि किसने क्या कहा। समझ लीजिए कि एयर इंडिया के एम्प्लॉय किया तो उनके पास कितने ऑप्शंस हैं। वो पत्र लिख सकते हैं एयरलाइंस को, वो पार्लियामेंट में ये मुद्दा उठा सकते हैं, वो सिविल एविएशन डिपार्टमेंट को अपना कंप्लेंट दर्ज कर सकते हैं। लेकिन कोई एक ऐसे बुजुर्ग अफसर को मारना और फिर शोभा ये आपको देती है कि आप कहे कि चलो मैं पिक्चर चला गया, चलो मैं जाता हूं वापस, उस्मानाबाद जाके सभी दुकान को वहां बंद करना। ये दिस इज अबाउट द डिग्निटी ऑफ द ऑफिस ऑफ द मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट एंड एज अ पार्लियामेंटेरियन इफ एनीबडी चूजेस टू बिहेव इन दिस हाई हैंडेड वे, इजंट इट गोइंग टू बी क्वेश्चन्ड? अच्छा, उनके समर्थक ने बंद किया तो उनको नहीं बंद करना चाहिए था। और जो आपको आपत्ति हो रही है कि एयरलाइन ने आपको बार क्यों किया, तो एयरलाइन को पत्र लिखिए, बोलिए कि ये हुआ, आइंदा मेरे तरफ से ऐसा हम व्यवहार नहीं करेंगे और खत्म हो जाएगा मुद्दा। और यहाँ आप तो डिफाइंड मोड पे हैं कि नहीं, हमने कुछ गलत किया ही नहीं, एयरलाइन को माफी
किया जा रहा है। शिंदे साहब, जानबूझ के, क्योंकि माफी मांगने से आपको लगता है कि आपका जो प्रिविलेज है, जो एमपी है, जिस धौंस से वो बोल रहे थे कि मैं शिवसेना का एमपी हूं, वो कम हो जाएगा। उल्टा उनका कहना है कि जिस आदमी को मैंने पीटा उससे कहो कि वो माफी मांगे मुझसे।
एंड वी कांट बी मॉरल कस्टोडियंस ऑफ अदर पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज, पद्मजा। मॉरल कस्टोडियंस ऑफ एवरी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी हैव टू बी देयर ओन लीडरशिप।
एब्सोल्युटली। और आपकी लीडरशिप किस तरीके का मैसेज दे रही है सारे शिव सैनिकों को कि ऐसे बदतमीजी करो, ऐसे बर्ताव करो और हम तुम्हारे को शाबाशी देंगे, तुम्हारे लिए हम बंद करवाएंगे। शिंदे साहब
जी, नहीं, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है। उन्होंने बैठ के कंप्लेंट मेरी सुन के लो, मेरे कंप्लेंट का जवाब दो। ये बात जो कही थी उसकी कंप्लेंट का आज तक एयरलाइंस ने जवाब नहीं दिया है। उनकी कंप्लेंट क्या थी ये बताया नहीं है। और उनके भी ऊपर बजाय एयरलाइंस ने मीडिया में जाने के बजाय पुलिस स्टेशन में जाके सीधा कहना था कि भाई इन्होंने हमारे आदमी के साथ ऐसा कर दिया। कायदा कानून जो काम करता था वो 10 बार बोले।
कायदा कानून सिर्फ एयरलाइन स्टाफों के लिए है, कायदा कानून रविंद्र गायकवाड़ जी के लिए नहीं है। अगर उनको कंप्लेंट करनी थी तो वो ड्यूटी ऑफिसर के पास कंप्लेंट करते, वो जाके पुलिस के पास कंप्लेंट करते अगर उनके साथ बदतमीजी हुई थी। वो चप्पल से उठा के मारे। और एयरलाइन की जब बात आए तो वो कंप्लेंट करे, वो कायदा कानून माने।
ये बात किसने बोली मीडिया में? बात
डॉक्टर श्रीराम खन्ना, would you like to respond to what this gentleman has been saying?
नहीं किया।
डॉक्टर खन्ना, would you like to respond to what this gentleman has been saying?
उन्होंने कंप्लेंट क्यों नहीं किया?
See,
कोई
I'd
भी
like
है
to
ना
say,
कानून की बात
see,
है
there
तो
is
कंप्लेंट
a
करना
point that
चाहिए।
he is making.
किसी ने भी
While
करना
what the minister,
पहले
what the
कंप्लेंट होनी
MP
चाहिए।
did, ऐसा है, देखिए जो ऐसा है कि जो एमपी साहब ने किया वो एक तरफ, पर जो क्या एयरलाइन का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट था, क्या उनकी सर्विस स्टैंडर्ड था, जो उनसे कमी हुई और जो उनसे गलती हुई, उस पर कोई एयरलाइन ने बोला है अभी तक? Indian Airline is one of the most inefficient airlines in the country. Their staff are permanent staff who have no means of discipline. They are inefficient. Their service is poor.
Dr.
So what
Khanna,
about
I give you all
the
of
poor
that.
service of Air
But
India?
aren't there
Are we going to all
mechanisms-
bury that under the complaint
Aren't there mechanisms
this
to have that
MP
addressed?
behaving in an unruly manner?
So you should
You
beat them
cannot,
up.
you cannot. Madam, the mechanism.
Are you saying you should beat
when
them
if
up?
an ordinary person would have spoken,
What
you
are you
would not
saying? Are
even
you
have
saying- are
had
you
a
saying that
story.
you should beat-
Here it is an
beat up
MP
staff?
and he
Parliament
behaved
should hit him
unruly.
with slippers.
And that is why you have a story. If an ordinary person would have spoken, your cameraman would not even have looked at him.
He
The
hasn't.
individual consumers
He hasn't-
are getting the short end of the stick by so many
Excuse me,
airlines.
he hasn't
Who is looking after
behaved.
their interests?
He hasn't behaved in an
The rules
unruly
of the Civil
manner.
Aviation Authority are not being implemented. When flights
Excuse
are,
me, he
flights are
hasn't
late,
behaved in an
compensation is not
unruly
being
manner.
paid. When flights are late,
He has
food is
been
supposed to be served,
behaved-
it is not being given. Who is there at the airports to look at this? Nobody is there at the... You can't do it in an unruly manner. I agree. But because of one man's unruliness, you cannot put all the dirt of the airlines under the carpet. Let that not be done, because 100 million Indian consumers are traveling on these airlines. They
This
cannot
is
be
not
treated shabbily.
about
The rules
unruly
have to be
behavior.
followed by
It
each
is
and every
about
airline, which they are not
criminal
following.
behavior.
Let's not forget this. The Air India is also in the wrong.
What has that to do
Let
with
the
the
police
price
take
of
care
fish?
of the criminal behavior. But
What are you
about the
talking
airline's
about?
conduct?
This is completely
Will
different from these.
deficiency of service, not following the standards.
No, but Dr.
Who is
Sridhar,
going to look after
I'm
that?
sorry, I
about
beg
that.
to
That's
differ.
not about this.
Yes, there are
No, it's not
complaints, and if
different.
those
You
complaints
have to see
need
both
be
sides of the
addressed.
story. You punish
cannot
Mr.
take the law in your
Gaikwad, but
hands.
what about the
Criminal
airline?
Act.
Who has done it? Has an inquiry been ordered? No inquiry has been ordered till now by Air India or anybody else. Let there be an inquiry, a public inquiry into what
why
happened.
the police is not
There
arresting
is no inquiry
It
so
has
far.
been 3
Let
days.
there be an inquiry. Don't become judge and jury and prosecutor altogether.
Okay, I'll give the final 30 seconds to Shaina ANC. Yes, there is considerable outrage. You say his behavior is abominable.
What
There
is
are
the Civil
FIRs
Aviation
filed.
Ministry
Why
doing?
hasn't action then been taken? Set an example. The MP clearly is not willing to tender any apology, Shaina ANC. Then why is the police not acting?
First, the political will that the Civil Aviation Department has shown, and the ministry particularly, has been in public domain from the day this incident happened by lodging these 2 FIRs. Obviously, law will take its course, and on the 2 counts of assault to an employee and second to the inconvenience done to the people on the flight, there will be definite proceedings. Now, when it comes to you questioning, what does your government think? We can't be the moral custodians of another party or of anybody for that matter. What one chooses to behave in public life has to be decided by him, or he needs to be pulled up by his own leadership. But I think the larger point here, Padmaja, is you have substantiated evidence where he has come and accepted the wrongdoing himself. So it's not like you need to wait for some kind of an investigation to come up with conclusive evidence. A lot of cases of vis-a-vis parliamentarians, sometimes even in criminal in nature, are not proven because they could be political vendetta, etc. This, by his own admission,
Okay,
is
Charanjit
his own
Sapra wants
doing.
to quickly
I
come
think
in.
that is the greater worry.
Last
If
20
we
seconds,
talk
please,
about,
Charanjit Sapra.
public abhorring politicians, why is it today this kind of a second?
Charanjit Sapra.
Padmanaja, had this same incident, if some normal person had done the act what Mr. Gaikwad has done, would the police have waited for 30 hours to file a FIR? Would the police have waited for 3 days or 4 days to arrest him? Had he been a normal person and a normal person had done the same act, he would have been immediately behind the bars. Then why this member of parliament is not being arrested? the BJP spokesperson, she's giving a big piece of advice.
Okay, let's not get into this Congress BJP thing right now.
To take immediate action against this guy. So what happens if he's a member of parliament?
The bigger issue is the stand of the Shiv Sena, the stand that they have taken vis-a-vis their
No,
MPs
why
behavior.
two sets?
I want to
Why
give the
two
final
sets of rules?
20
One for
seconds
normal
to
people and
Jitendra
one for the member
Shinde.
parliament.
Jitendra Shinde, क्या आखिर में आप कम से कम इतना कबूलना चाहेंगे कि जो हुआ वो गलत था? एयर इंडिया की तरफ से अगर गलती है तो दोनों तरफ से कंप्लेंट्स होनी चाहिए, पर किसी पर हाथ उठाने के लिए गायकवाड़ साहब को माफी मांगनी चाहिए, कम से कम इतना तो बनता है।
जी माफी उनसे माफी मांगने के लिए उनसे किसने कहा मैम, और किससे माफी मांगे? वो किसने माफी वो एयरलाइन इंडिया स्टाफर ने बोला है वो मेरे से माफी मांगे बोल के, या एयर इंडिया ने बोला है उनको माफी मांगने के लिए? किसने बोला है? अगर कोई माफी मांगे तो किससे मांगे? हम भी खड़े हैं, हमारे से कोई गलती हो जाए तो हमको कोई बोले अरे भाई तुम आके माफी मांगो, तो हम किससे माफी मांगे?
जिस 60 साल के आदमी को मारा है उससे माफी नहीं बनती है, उनको माफी मांगना सही नहीं लगता आपको? आप खुद बताइए।
जी उनका भी हमारे एमपी साहब का भी एज 59 साल है, उनके साथ भी ज्यादती है, उनके साथ भी गुंडागर्दी हुई है, एयरलाइन के स्टाफ ने उनको गाली गलौज की है, वीडियो क्लिपिंग आ रहा है, वो एयर होस्टेस बोल रहे हैं, क्रू बोल रहा है कि एमपी का बिहेवियर बहुत अच्छा था बोल के। आप सब तरफ से देखिए, दोनों भी साइड आए, जिसको भी गुनाह हो जाए, हमारे एमपी साहब से अगर गलती है बिल्कुल उनको सजा होनी चाहिए, किसी को भी सजा होनी चाहिए। अगर क्रू से गलती है,
if you thought that Ravindra Gaikwad is going to be pulled up or censured by the Shiv Sena, I think the party stand is quite clear where they stand on this entire issue. However, the FIRs have been filed and we're certainly hoping that the police moves on this issue fast. Thanks very much, Maja Daruwala, Dr. Shriram Khanna, Shaina NC, Charan Singh Sapra, and also Mr. Jitendra Shinde for joining us on this story. And the big story from Uttar Pradesh, where meat sellers across the state are on an indefinite strike against the crackdown on illegal and mechanized slaughterhouses by the BJP government. The opposition says thousands of livelihoods are in jeopardy. The fine print, though, is that these slaughterhouses should have been acted against in 2015 in the wake of an NGT order. So who allowed this problem to fester and now blow up?
Shops shut, anti-government protest, meat traders out on the streets. A meat crisis is looming in Yogi's Pradesh. From Lucknow to Varanasi, Gorakhpur to Allahabad, meat sellers went on an indefinite strike across the state against the crackdown on illegal and mechanized slaughterhouses.
मुसलमानी आबादी तो बढ़ रही है, बच्चे हम पे 5-6 साल तक कहाँ से लाए खाने को? सरकार ने तो एकदम आदेश कर दिए, भाई कुछ दिन का हमको टाइम देते तो कम से कम उसका इंतजाम तो हम कर लेते।
Chicken and fish vendors also joined the stir, leading to non-vegetarian delicacies going off the menu in several parts of the state. Some traders even claimed that local police officials threatened to seal their shops.
दुकानों को पुलिस वाले बंद करा रहे हैं, पैसा ले रहे हैं और उसके बाद धमकी दे रहे हैं कि सील्ड कर दिया जाए।
More than 140 illegal slaughterhouses were closed, but even the people who were trying to do small business from their homes, the administration has swung into action and have dissuaded these people not to cut any animal even at their home.
Assurances poured in from the newly elected BJP government, which also warned officials against overzealousness.
ये जो कार्रवाई है वो अवैध बुचर खानों के ऊपर ही है। अवैध, जिनके पास लाइसेंस है उनको डरने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। अति उत्साहित जो अधिकारी हैं वो भी अपने विवेक का इस्तेमाल करें, जिनके पास लाइसेंस है। उदाहरण के लिए किसी ने लाइसेंस में सीसीटीवी कैमरा लगाने की बात कही गई है और नहीं लगाया तो उसको बंद करने का आप प्रयास ना करें।
The crackdown on illegal abattoirs has left the traders angry and the meat eaters miffed. But the critical question remains, should they stop the action against illegal slaughterhouses? And who will they stand to benefit? With Shiv Sena in Lucknow, Bureau Report, India Today.
That's it then on today's edition of News Today. Coming up next is Newsroom.